Hi everyone, it's Lucy from My Crazy Craft Life, and today I'm here with the design team post for Fairy Stamper. Today I'm going to be making this card. I'm going to be using Live Forever, Hanging Vines, Bluebells, Ciana, and Fairy Liana. And I'm also going to be using Galaxy Fairyscapes paper background. And I will link all of those in the post. Now I'm going to be making a square 5.5 inch card using a 5.5 inch card base. And so I'm going to actually cut this down to 5 1/4 square. And I just kind of took off about a little over 1/4 inch off of each side. So that way it got me down to that 5 1/4. And then I'm cutting my card base with black cardstock, and like I said, I'm scoring it at the 5.5 inches, and then I'll just fold it up, make sure that that looks all right, and then I'm going to use the stamp platform, and I'm going to be doing some stamping. And I love these backgrounds because they're gorgeous backgrounds, but when you don't maybe have a lot of time to be able to create a background, they're just beautiful backgrounds that you can use that's really simple and quick and still give you that gorgeous background. Now I was kind of playing around with this because I wanted to figure out where I wanted my stamps, and so I brought out the fairy stamp Ciana along with the fairy Liana so that I can kind of get an idea of where I wanted it and where I wanted to kind of put stuff. And the images that are on that cellophane work great if you can't really tell where the stamp is because they're clear stamps, and so you can just kind of use that cellophane with the image on it that gives you that really nice view of exactly where and what the stamp will look like. So I'm using some Versafine ink, and I'm going to be stamping the Fairy Liana in the Versafine ink. I'm going to stamp that a couple times, make sure I get a nice crisp image. Then I'm also going to be using it with the Fairy Ciana. And I'm just going to, again, I'm going to stamp that a couple times to make sure that I get a real crisp, clean image. And that's why using the stamping platform works really, really well for this. It's not that you can't stamp over something again, but it's definitely easier when you know the paper is in the same position and the stamp is in the same position and you don't really have to think about it or worry about it. So this is the first time I've used this stamp, so it's going to take a couple times to kind of get that good, crisp image, especially since it's a pretty solid stamp. Then I'm going to start using some colored inks. I'm going to use a pine green from Hero Arts just to put the sentiment down, and I just adore this sentiment from Live Forever. And so I'm going to stamp that a couple times because, again, I want to make sure that it's a crisp image in that pine green. And the sentiment says, dream as if you'll live forever, but live as if you only have today. And I love that sentiment. And then I'm going to start using the hanging vines, and again I'm using a colored ink in moss to get those vines on all the different areas kind of hanging from the top where I want them to go. Kind of like if a tree was hanging over and just the vines are hanging down from it. So you can't necessarily see the tree, but it's there because the vines are there. So once I finish up stamping that, I'm actually going to remove it from the platform, and the rest of the stamping I'll just do on my craft mat. Now, I would like to tell you that make sure you check out our Facebook page for Fairy Stamper Hugs, and you can certainly check out all of the amazing projects that are on there from not only our design team, but from people as well posting it. I'm using, the first time I use an archival ink, But then I decided to go with an ocean blue, a little darker blue, for the rest of the flowers that I'm going to put there for the bluebells. But make sure you check out that Facebook page. Make sure you hit like and subscribe to the Fairy Stamper YouTube page to make sure you get those notifications for new videos that are out from all of the design team. And then you can always check out all of the stamps that they have at fairystamper.com. Then I'm going to just take some alcohol markers and I'm going to color in just a few areas. I'm going to color in the wings of the fairy. I'm going to color in the dots of the mushroom. And then I'm going to color in the leaves of the fairy Liana branch with the flowers kind of on there. And I'm just going to do those in green. I mean, they're leaves more so than flowers. But then I'm also using my Spectrum Noir sparkle pen because we can't have a fairy without some sparkle. So we're going to add sparkle to the wings. I'm going to add it to the flower the fairy is holding. And then I kind of come back afterwards and I decided I wanted to do the hat the fairy had on. And that's going to be about it as far as the Spectrum Noir sparkle pen. Once I kind of finish up that, I'm going to grab my card base and I'm going to use some double-sided adhesive, and then I will get that onto the card base itself, and then that will pretty much finish up this card. Like I said, it's a really fun card. It's awesome to use the backgrounds for the fairyscapes because they are so simple to just pull out and grab one, and they look amazing, and then you can just jump right into your stamping and stuff. So it helps to make quick cards when you don't always have a ton of time to be able to make the backgrounds on top of everything else. And that will be pretty much it. So I want to thank you for joining me. If you want to see anything in particular, let us know. And like I said, make sure you check out Facebook and the YouTube channel. Thank you, take care, and have a great day.